Tommy.
Yeah.
I'm going to try something. Maybe it'll work. Maybe it'll be an absolute disaster. Absolute disaster. Try it again. You have to do this thing first, you see, and it's horrible for radio or podcast. I know. Nah, it's awful. I got a didgeridoo, and I'm fucking it up here.
Okay, Rolf Harris, keep going.
I was able to do this earlier.
Of course, stage fright.
No, it's awful.
The thing to do is that when just do it one more time, and then I'll edit in a perfect didgeridoo into the podcast.
Sorry about that, everyone. Oh, I've let everyone down. But
Where
most
did
of
you?
all, just me.
Yeah, yourself. It's like that inflatable boy who went to inflatable school, but one day he brought a pin with him, and his teacher said, "You've let yourself down. You've let the school down."
Yep. Dum. What's the crack, Tommy Kelly?
Not much. Nothing strange or exciting going on. Well, is there anything strange going on? Well, like we're still. It's so weird, like because we're in the middle of the apocalypse. But like any crack? No, just the usual apocalypse stuff.
Same stuff. Well, I was telling you last week, wasn't I? The pandemic's over here. No one seems to give a shit anymore. It's all fine. Yeah. Schools, businesses, everything is back open and.
Has dead people? Is there many more? Any less? Are they talking about?
I don't know. No, they were saying so last week. They had the highest numbers ever of all the countries combined.
But that's fine. That's fine.
Like everyone's like, it's grand. Don't worry about it. Like, yeah, some people are going to die, but sure, fuck it. Like, be all right. Okay, fine. Polish government, I believe you. Shit's going down though, because like the head honcho of the government, who isn't, he hasn't been like a member of cabinet, or he has a seat in the parliament, but he runs the party, but he doesn't. He's not the prime minister, or he's not in any of the departments or anything like that. But like he's rolling. I know he's mad looking. You're making funny faces there. It's crazy. But like he's this kind of shadowy, softy, dictatory type. He's a bit like your man Orban.
And how legally is he doing this then?
I have no fucking idea. He just makes up his own rules, like, you know, and gets away with it. And it's mad as well. Like, they have this. Poland is hitting the headlines all around the world because there's all these like local village and small town councils who are voting to be anti-LGBT.
Oh yeah, you were mentioning that last week. Yeah.
Places, you know. I was in one of them there, and it's just this tiny little village, but it's just.
And like, is there signs up, or are they like very focused about it, or is it just a general kind of background hum of fucking LGBT?
You know the way when you drive into like a town in Ireland, there's a sign saying, you know, welcome to fucking
twinned with blue in France.
Welcome to where all hopes and dreams come to die. You know.
Welcome to Arnie. Hey.
And so they had to have a little plaque in some of these places saying anti-LGBT, and has in a few different languages and whatever. But like the thing is that it's illegal to have this, and like the city councils or province councils, because Poland is kind of federal like in Germany, but not the same, and they will bring these villages to court saying, look, you can't do this, this is against human rights and yada yada yada. And then they'll put up a bit of a row, and then the EU, like Ursula, what's her name, the head honcho of the EU, was like, yeah, you can't do fucking this, and if you continue doing it, we won't give you any money. And now the villagers are like, shit. But then the Polish government came along and like, nah, we'll give you the money, all right, we'll look after you. But they're actually getting the money from the EU different ways anyway, so it's very bizarre. But it's this thing of Poland wants the older people in Poland want this homogenous, white, fucking milky, boring society, and it's rather bizarre because the guy mentioned, his name's Yaroslav Kaczynski, who I mentioned, he's this leader of the party, but he's as gay as Christmas.
Right. Like, sure.
And it's well known that like he shows up at to events and all with his best friend.
All right, like Oprah.
Everyone knows he's good, but it's like that thing with Joe Dolan years ago when we were kids, he was, I can't say his fucking surname. It's the one surname in Ireland I really struggle to say properly. Dolan.
Really?
I used to have to sit in front of the mirror and say it. Dolan.
Wait, what? Were you trying to evoke the spirit of Joe Dolan or something?
No,
oh, Joe Dolan, come to me through this mirror.
I knew a fella in school called Dolan. Dolan.
You see, but that's
hard.
where your confusion started, you see.
That's hard to say. Can you say Dolan? I can't even do it now.
Dolan.
It's fucking Jesus. Irish names are
Don't
mad.
say it 3 times. He'll appear before you.
He'll fucking appear like Satan the other day, and he's sucking my balls, sucking my dick, like I invited him to. It's called back there from a couple of episodes ago. If you don't get that joke.
It's not just a weird reference. Well, it's a weird reference, but it's a.
So your man's gay as Christmas, and it's kind of not known about, and like he's been asked about, and he's like, I like cats and I'm asexual. What the fuck? No one your age is asexual. You're gay. And just no one. It was exactly like Joe. Fuck! I can't say his name.
Joe Dolan, for the people who don't know, is
Dolan,
like
Dolan.
Like a hugely famous show band, I suppose, singer.
Yeah, how would you explain
cabaret,
it to
or
non-Irish
people?
Yeah, cabaret singer,
and who was like the most obvious gay man that anyone had ever seen.
Yeah, the most obvious.
But when he died and it came out that he was gay, the entire country was shocked, and not fake shocked, actually shocked.
Yeah, actually shocked. Yeah. It's like what's his name? The Boyzone manager, Louis. What's his name?
Louis
Armstrong.
Louis Armstrong. Come in, boys. Come in here.
Everyone knows he's gay, but no one talks about it. But it's a thing that it is.
Unless he's on anything to do with Keith Lemon, and Keith Lemon just constantly mentions it. That's what Keith Lemon does.
Okay. I didn't know that. So, but it's not to be gossipy. Like, oh my God, he's gay. Like, who gives a fucking shit, really? But it's just that
it's the hypocriticalness, I suppose, isn't it?
It's exactly the hypocriticalness of Mr. Kaczynski, and just being like, we hate gay people. But it's just it's very much a we need a target, because things are going so well in Poland economically and socially.
Yeah, well, why not pick, maybe the coronavirus as your target rather than, some nice people?
Because it's easy to pick on the gays, because a lot of the Polish gays, they don't really tend to stay here anyway. Like, a lot of the Polish lads I worked with
would you?
were gay. Well, yeah, why not? It's not like they're being...
It's not as if they're, they're driving through villages that have signs on the welcome to tell them.
The sign, but there's nothing happening. There's no violence against gay people or anything. Not yet. There hasn't been. This has been going on for ages.
Oh, right.
There's been a couple of hairy moments at protests and all, but it's kind of like, it's... I don't know. I hope I'm not going to be wrong here, but I think in 5-10 years' time, people are just going to look back and just go, "Oh, Jesus, what were we thinking?"
Oh, is that when that generation's all dead? Is that what you mean?
Hopefully. Soon
5-10 years.
But that's the thing. Like, Poland's a weird thing. I spoke with this before, because like after World War II, up to World War II, Poland was like the most multicultural country in the world. At the time, it was full of ethnic Poles, ethnic Slavs, ethnic Ukrainians, Germans, Czechs, and Jews. I said Jews, didn't Jews? And who's the other one? Just loads of people and Tatars who apparently don't exist, even though they do in the Polish mountains. And then after World War II, they were like, let's not have lots of people. Let's just have white people, and that way there won't be any wars. And I was like, that's well, it has worked, I suppose, but it's just not the way to have your country, because like there's loads of people coming to Poland now because it's become successful, and no one's going to come here and get rich, but like there's loads of jobs and stuff, and it's a fairly free country, and it's fine,
And it's the general kind of are the people that you talk to day kind of xenophobic, racist, homophobic, in the kind of way that a lot of Irish people are? Like, there's that background joke that isn't a joke.
I don't know. Yes and no, because like there's a lot of people who'll make kind of racist jokes, but as soon as you call them out on it, they back down. Do you know? Yeah. So I've had that, and I've had like friends over the years who I'm not friends anymore, but I was friends with, who just crossed the line too far with, sending me fucking racist jokes on WhatsApp and all that kind of stuff. And I'm just like,
Enough.
stop calling them and stop going to their parties and all that kind of stuff, and just, purposely lost contact with them because I don't need that fucking shit, like, But I mean, I think it's just the older people because they were brought up so insular and so closed off from the world. But like people who come back from living abroad, like their eyes are totally open, and they're just like, yeah, I don't care. I'm just happy to be home, and I worked abroad for 10 years doing 5 jobs, and now I own 5 apartments and I live off that. It's like, okay, cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I don't know. I think it's definitely moving forward. I just think that we're always moving forward. This is such a fucking horrible thing to say. Moving forward at the end of the day.
At the end of it, yeah.
What's that mean? But like, I just think that this Kaczynski fella, he's just like, they need this target because they need the old people with them all the time. They need this vote. I don't know, man. I think everything. I'm just a bit more hopeful than, say, the likes of Kingsley and Ugly, I presume, and Chapman. Okay, Chapman isn't. You put me straight on that. Straight. Yeah. And but like, I have to be. What's the opposite of pessimistic? Optimistic.
Yeah, but there's a third way. There's a third way, which is neither optimistic or pessimist, which is the all-encompassing, and just see it as the way it is.
Yeah, it is the way it is. But I think I don't think it's as bad as, say, the media make it out. But
I don't think so. Yeah, but that's because that's deciding on the pessimism side.
Yeah, exactly.
And kind of, I think the idea of being, I don't know, overtly pessimistic or overtly positive is kind of missing the point, because you're still doing that whole back to that Buddhist idea of seeing the world, it's not the way I want it to be, and that's why I feel bad. Whereas if you just see the world for what it is, neither be pessimistic, like don't see it for terrible, don't pretend it's not what it is. And because we think we have a kind of a tendency that, well, given that some people are more kind of have a proclivity towards pessimism or optimism, I certainly have towards pessimism, but if you could just see it for what it is, rather than, doing the media thing of the pessimism thing or the new age thing of the too positive thing, the gratuitously positive thing, because you're setting yourself up for falls in many of those things, in those ways. And it also means that you're never allowed to actually talk about something. Because I've met certain things. Because I was talking to Finesse about this recently during the week. I'm saying about debt and about how, we're as the Magia kind of teacher would teach, like, we're all condemned people, we're all going to get sick, died, the entire world's going to fall apart, entropy, all of that thing. But to even mention that, you're going, oh, stop being so depressing. And you're going, I didn't come up with this. This is just what's happening. There's no way this is not happening. We don't get out of this. Like, it's not kind of, you're not jinxing it or any of these things. But we have to, and she was going, well, she was kind of going, well, so what's the point of thinking about it, or whatever. I was going, well, the point of thinking about it is that when someone actually dies, or there's some tragic thing, like say someone's parents died when they're quite young and all that, we have no kind of social context to deal with that, because we're not allowed to talk about it. And so when it happens, people are just kind of left in a kind of a, in a field on their own, because, we've never been allowed to talk about that. We're not allowed to talk about grieving. We're not allowed to talk about all these kinds of negative. And what happens, you're on your own. Sorry about that. Here's a handshake, pat on the back. Yeah, good luck.
I don't know, though. I always kind of had the opinion that Ireland's fairly good at death. Well, rural Ireland, anyway.
Well, it's good at the wake and having a party and around that. But it's like, it's not good. It's still, did you see your man at his mother's funeral? He started crying, oh, what a wimp. And you go, like, I've definitely heard that.
Do people do? Man, I cry at everyone's funeral. I was an altar boy. I used to cry at strangers' funerals.
I've heard good people, intelligent people say things like, when someone cried at the mother's funeral, that he was embarrassed and made a fool of himself.
What the fuck?
Yeah, so, I mean, you have that kind of thing. And,
no. Yeah. I mean, if I heard someone, I'd just put them in their place and just say, shut the fuck up, man. This is mad.
I was like, good luck. Like, or even if it wasn't, like, even if it's, I don't know, his cousin or something. Who knows what relationships people have, these kind of things. But I do think that kind of need to, I suppose, the pessimism forced on us socially and from the media point of view, because as the whole thing, it's control, it's, it's great for advertising, it's great for selling things, keep people in fear, they'll buy, consuming Edward Bernays, shaky fist, all of that stuff. But then the opposite side, the new age, light and love, religious, everything is secretly good. Even the bad stuff is, well, it's not really bad. It's there to help you. It's not. No, it's not. Some of it's bad. That's it. And it kind of negates the kind of need to sort some problems out, because if all goods or if all bad things are ultimately really good things, then let the people, whatever it is, starve in certain third world countries, because that's part of their spiritual thing. They came here to learn that. But yeah, you could probably do something about that. No. Don't think so.
No, but we can give them some food. No. They came here to be hungry. That was, they were up there with their holy guardian angel going, oh, you know what? I know where I fucked up in my last incarnation. I wasn't hungry enough. Aha.
Yeah.
Jesus, I got just the place for you. Yeah, no, that's horrible to think about stuff like that. But I mean, I've read plenty of stuff on that where it is like, yeah, well, that's the road that they have to go through, even like to get to the next kind of spiritual rung on the ladder. I'm like, why? I mean, why would you?
Yeah, why?
Yeah, why? Why can't you just try and do what I'm doing now, or what, based on what Chapman and Barford have done, and trying to move up the rungs of the ladder as quick as you can without doing 7 fucking lives. Just try and do it in one.
Yeah, you have that karma thing that people have, which is we've a very weird notion of karma here, I've mentioned before, in that it's punishment for doing bad things or a reward for good things. And it's not. No, it's like you do something, something's going to happen because of that. Karma.
Yeah.
That's it. But the karma then thing is that it's sad. It's come back to the victim blaming thing we've talked about before, where we're trying to point at something bad as if it's people's fault, karma, or they're an arsehole, or they did something wrong, or they ate wrong if to get cancer, or whatever it is the thing, so that it won't happen to me. So if you can blame all of these things, then it won't happen to me, because I'm pure. My karma's good. I bought a cup of coffee for a homeless man one day.
I mean,
or whatever
there's something I have a little bit of a problem getting into my head, in that, okay, so we spoke about it a little bit last week about that fairly new video of old footage of Alan Watts talking about balance and yin and yang. So, okay, if let's say if everything has its balance, well then, I have to even say that I was struggling to even come up with this question. I'm still struggling to word it properly.
We could look at it from a Thelemic point of view, and that whole
you're
idea,
becoming a Thelemic. What's going on there?
A prolemic. But it's just this kind of, I do this. This is the kind of a stage where I'll hang out with people for a while, and then I'll keep circling back.
You're doing that thing, Tommy. You're doing that thing of looking for answers elsewhere when it's all inside, Tommy.
Oh yeah.
It's all inside.
Follow the silent knowing.
Yeah.
Follow the silent knowing.
Yeah. You'd be back in 6 months' time and you'd be like, Spud, you were right, man.
I know you're right. I know you're right, but I also enjoy reading. So what am I going to do? Just stop reading? You know what I mean? So, just sit there all day going, just the silent knowing for me. No TV. No TV. No cup of coffee. No silent knowing only. But you used to love coffee and reading and watching TV. No, not anymore.
I don't know.
Spud told me just to look within.
Yeah. I found a cave. I'm going to lay down in the cave and pretend I'm dead. All right, you okay, Tommy? Silent knowing.
Silent knowing.
It's great.
Yeah.
I know exactly what I'm doing. I'm going off now to die. You're not really going to die, though, right? I mean, I did prepare you. Come on. We were talking about death all week.
All week.
Yeah, but it's not real death this time.
Isn't this?
Ooh, I don't know. Sure, maybe I'll see you tomorrow. I don't know. Anyway.
Thelema.
Yeah, Thelema.
Am I not? So, if you will allow me to read a few books and maybe have some sort of thoughts around them, that would be fine. I'd enjoy that. Thank you. So the idea, just because I think it's what you're pointing at, is the so every man and woman is a star. It's it's from Book of Law, obviously, and it's kind of the whole notion of true will, and that if one of the things to come back with is if everyone does their true will, won't that interfere with everyone else? Won't that be a block? If you're doing what you want and I'm doing what I want, won't that interfere? And the whole idea of every man and woman is a star is that everyone has their own trajectory, everyone has their own space, everyone has their own orbit, and the universe, for the most part, because all these analogies fall at some point. It's like, it's in harmony, and stars don't normally crash into each other, and they do occasionally, of course, so it doesn't work a thing. But the whole thing has your place in the universe, and if everyone was doing their true will, then the kind of that is the balance, the harmony, the kind of, I'm doing lots of hand actions that no one can see other than Spud. But so that's, the thing we talked with the Alan Watts thing of, you need the balance, whatever. And, but he also, Alan Watts does point in that in the yin and yang is that the white needs a bit of the black, and the white needs a bit of, or the white needs a bit of the black, and black needs a bit of the white too. So it's not, the balance is a slight, adultery or adulteration. For it to, so the balance doesn't mean a complete kind of, I suppose, separation of all the different things. But
because it's not like we have to be 50% good and 50% bad. It's that, okay, like, try and be 100% good, but like, if you do something bad, just fucking own it. Do I have it right? Is that right?
Well, understand that, again, coming from, say, the Magia point of view, is that the good is found within the bad, in the sense of the light is found within the dark. You have to go through the thing to get to, it's not by avoiding it, it's not by pushing it away or trying to heal the dark or whatever it is. It's not trying to change the nature of it. It's by going through it is where, that's where you find it. So it's a kind of a necessary thing, because that's where we are. That's where you have to go through the dark to find the light, kind of a thing. That's my reading of it. I mean, like, obviously there's probably a million books in the whole yin yang kind of idea, and
yeah, it's just,
people have different ideas.
I'd say there must be an awful lot of people who get the kind of balance thing wrong and use it to excuse their kind of terrible behaviour. There must be.
Yeah, and again, with the true will thing, and I remember having an argument with a friend of mine. He was going, but true will, that whole notion of it, it's just an excuse for people to be an asshole. And I was going, it is if you misunderstand what true will is.
And but that's hedonism, that's different.
Yeah, and it's like the true will thing is like, oh, you do whatever you want, that's what it's kind of seen it. And it's, in fact, the exact opposite of that, in that you have a particular, very specific reason or trajectory.
I thought you were going to say set of skills there.
So you have a very particular set of skills, a trajectory in your life, your mission, a divine plan, something you're to do or whatever. It's not quite to do, but some sort of expression. In Magia terms, it's to bring something from eternity into time, that whatever it is, and that's your true will, is to do that, which is the opposite of being able to do what you want. It's been told, you have an exact thing you have to do, go and do it, by like an outside, well, not necessarily an outside thing. So it's like not a call for heathenry or, I don't do whatever you want. It's actually a very strict, that if you don't do the thing that you're meant to be doing, your life isn't going to be great, or, you're going to definitely have struggles. But it also points out that even if you are doing the thing that you're meant to be doing, that even though the universe, the door's open for you and all that, so that's not necessarily going to be all roses and, suddenly, petals below your feet and, people just welcome you in open arms and putting, those things when you go to India where they put the flowers around your neck. Imagine you just came home and then, your mum started doing that. Oh, Spud, it's great to see you. You're so welcome here, washing your feet.
Oh, well done. That barrel of cement that you made today was extra specially good. Well done. Here's some flowers. Okay, thanks, man. What the fuck is going on? Yeah, but I don't know. I mean, the true will thing is, I still don't know what mine is. I might know, but I'm not 100% sure.
Yeah, but are you looking for true will as my true will is to be a carpenter, or is that kind of like your notion of it? Because I mean, I don't know. That might be right, but I assume true will is more, in a sense, to use a terrible word, energetic than that. That it's more an expression. My thing is to express myself in a certain way or whatever, rather than being a physical thing. I don't know. That's my kind of view in it. That my true will is to be creative, say, rather than a comic artist or something. It could come out in any number of ways.
Yeah.
But I have something that I have to express.
I see. I hadn't really thought about it like that.
Right.
Yeah, I was thinking more of a what's the. See, I had thought that maybe like this Minerva thing has taken that form because she was the Roman deity for arts, crafts, poetry, and this defensive war thing. So it's like, okay, they speak to me, so I must try and kind of honor those paths and become shit hot at defensive wars. So I'm learning to build trenches at the moment. You know, I know something about trenches in that if you have to build them, especially they have to have 2 turns, I think, or even 3 turns going into them, so that if someone lobs a grenade down to them, there's less chances of the grenade getting all the way down to the bottom. Because if there's only 2 turns, it just needs to bounce off one wall, and then it'll kill all the lads down there. So I have been doing the research. If anyone needs me to build a home trench, I'm happy to fly anywhere in the world. I have shovel, will travel, and but I mean that's the kind of way I saw it. But like I have been meditating and working on this and trying to do tarot and trying to talk to her about it, and just wasn't getting anything. Just wasn't. Nothing was speaking to me. Just going, okay, I'll plod along doing what I like. I like doing the carving. I like doing the short stories. I'm just going to continue doing it because I like doing them anyway. And then like when we went off on holidays there down the country, like you know what happened. I don't have to tell the listeners really. It's not that big of a deal. But like certain things happened down there where it was like, aha, there we go. She's making herself known this way. So I was just being too fucking eager asking because I'm like that. I want to know the answer straight away. And you know that. Our listeners know that. Like as soon as I get an idea and I want to do something, I get the books about it, I read up on it, and I nerd out on it, and I know it, and then move on. But like, just have to be a bit patient. But like, I mean, I don't know. I don't know. I still don't know what it is. I mean, probably it's just to teach or help people. And okay, that's cool. But like, I don't want to be a doctor, like, because the first thing you think of is, I help people. I'll be a doctor. You know,
yeah, but that's immediately because that's what you think it should be. You know,
yeah.
Like I have to, my true will is to obviously be the greatest human being that ever existed ever in every form, and just give of myself completely. So people will put flowers around my neck, but then it turns into a noose. But it's like I don't know. I mean, it's certainly like I feel I've found my true will, like, but it's more abstract than something I could probably explain. In that I can feel a sense of being a conduit for something to come from one place to another, and and I mean it's that thing, you might be successful in it or whatever, or it might be seem a success from outside or whatever. But like, who are we to know on cosmological scale what kind of impact anyone is having on any kind of thing? Because I remember years ago, and it always struck me, is that I had a conversation with someone very briefly over a cup of coffee. They said something to me, can't even remember the full conversation, some problem they were having, and I said something to them, being genuine, trying my best to help or whatever. And then years later, from a friend, I heard that that person had told my friend that had been one of the massively changing points in their entire life, and everything sorted out.
And you don't even remember what you said.
I don't even remember. Yeah, and it wasn't. So I mean, what I was kind of going, in two ways. One, you have no idea the positive impact you're having on people or have had on people.
Yeah.
You have no idea the negative impact you've had on people. Because say a different day, and I was hungover and I hated the world, and I was going through whatever phase, listening to Richard Dawkins or something, whatever it was. But at Christopher Hitchens, I really wanted to argue with everything because I thought it was like super intelligent or something. And they said something, and I just kind of poo-pooed it or dismissed it or whatever. And I'd have a completely different experience. Either way, I probably don't remember the conversation because it's not about me. But why would I remember it?
Yeah. No, it's mad. I had a thing the other day because I've been trying these Magia bindings. But not really doing them in a meditative way, like the proper way. But I was walking down the street to collect the young lads the other day, and I was doing that old Spud thing in my head, just having arguments with the world,
Yeah, I love that's one of my favourite jobs.
Yeah, I don't like doing it, but I used to do it a lot, an awful fucking. I'm a lot happier than I am, than I ever used to be. Like, but But I do find myself falling into these little traps every now and again. And I was just fighting with the world in my head. And I said, no, you know what? I can do a quick binding on this. Say, right, what's the story here? What is the reason I'm doing this? And I was like, okay, I'm an either people. I hate people. And it was that simple. I was like, you know what? I don't hate people. I fucking love people.
Yeah.
I'd love to be in the middle of the centre of attention now and people adoring me. And it just cheered me up straight away. I was like, I don't hate people. People are deadly. What am I doing? Do you know? And I just carried on. And that was it. It was over. As quick as that. Do you know what I mean? Because it was something that I picked on you had written about in one of the discords about the binding and that. It's very easy to overcomplicate them. Whereas that, if you just say, right, what's that? What's it actually mean? Okay, flip it around. Okay, cool. We're good.
It's the whole look just to see, not to confirm. Which you know, it's so hard to do that. It
is hard.
Yeah, because you're always trying to confirm, or you know, have some sort of priori kind of idea that you're looking for. Like in any book, and I didn't notice I was doing it an awful lot until, you know, Mr. Chapman pointed it out in the thing that you are kind of looking at things to try and, rather than, you know, oh, this is a new book, rather than trying some new ideas, go, this will probably agree with me, and you know, this will be great, this will build up more of what I already think, you know, and you kind of, well, you know, you should probably not do that because you don't learn as much.
Yeah, you're not learning. Yeah,
the binding stuff is great. I had a kind of a breakthrough with it this week in that I did a binding start to finish on my own and got it, you know, without any help, which is big for me. But it was coming out of, you know, talking to Alan and him just, you know, going, because I was explaining what I'm doing and he's just going like, yeah, like that's not it. It's not it. It's like, but at the same time, obviously not laughing at me or whatever, but it's just because that's the whole, this is the reason why it is hard to do, because it's like the thing of it is, it's like you can't see it because of this, you know, and so it's why you can't work it out is because you're trying to work it out. And he's just saying, just take it really, really simple. The whole point of it, like, draw it out, stick figures, and just look at it. That's it. Don't be right, because I was like writing pages trying to work out, what does this mean? What does this represent? Blah, blah. He's going, no, just keep looking at it and until, because he's saying you are never going to work it out. You're not going to work it out. And you trying to work it out is you not doing the practice anymore. You've gone doing something else. And that if you just keep looking just to see, you know, not to interpret, not to work out, not to use your brain, and just in a sense allow, like the whole analogy of the seed, you know, and allow it to reveal itself or grow itself or bloom itself, tend to it. You know, that's his big thing, which I didn't really understand for a while, but it's just, you know, it's like doing the fire meditation where I'm kind of looking at that part, my heart center, and that kind of feeling that I have. It's not trying to heal it. It's not trying to increase it. It's not trying to go away. It's not trying to understand it. It's just looking at it. What is it?
Yeah, just recognizing it's something.
What it is. So I was doing the binding, and it was around. It was a very simple thing, and it was just around certain hangovers that I've had or moments. It was mostly about. It started off with being, you know, when you've drank all night and then you wake up and it's like 6 o'clock and it's dark and it's, you know, you've wasted the day or something like that. So there's a couple of things around that it didn't kind of seem, but they seemed very significant because I mean, I've had a million hangovers, but there's like 5 or 6 of them in particular that I seem to, you know, stay or come into my mind a bit more or whatever. Just whatever it was, you know, different kind of situations. And not anything, it wasn't like, or one night where I made a fool of myself or I did something. It was just like some night I got really drunk and then I can remember exactly the following evening, it was dark, I was walking across the street. And that comes into my meditations. For years it'll pop in every now and again. Okay. And it's a very particular quality of energy to it or feeling to it or whatever that when I was drew it out and was looking at it, and it was, the quality of it was similar to other kind of appearances or other times that kind of happened. And I was thinking, Alan was saying to me that it's like, how do you know if this, because I was going, sometimes when I'm looking at it I go, well, here's another kind of version of it, but it's not really, it kind of fits. And he goes, well, does it feel the same? If it feels the same, then it is the same, but if it doesn't, then it's not. I was going, all right, well, that's a good gauge of the whole thing. So it ended out, I had about 4 or 5 different things, got back to the earliest one, and that it just appeared. I, you know, just went, oh, wow, but that's interesting that, you know, draw it down, the whole thing. And so just looking at the whole kind of thing, going through the, You know the bit where you have to do the contraction, the absence, the falsehood, that thing. And he was saying it's not a checklist. Don't be seeing it as a checklist where you go, contraction, yes. Absence, yes. Falsehood, there is definitely a falsehood. He says they're just kind of pointers on how to contemplate it, how to see it. So it's not just, you're not doing a checklist. And then when I got to it, and then I went, the whole thing, and it was all about being something my mum had said to me about being an embarrassment. And I was the new embarrassment or something at a wedding, something like that. But that when that name appeared, the new embarrassment, went, there you go, that's it, there you are. And it's just like this moment of, holy fuck, there it is, I understand it. And it's, and it's...
Kill it! Kill it now!
Well, the binding of it is getting its real name, but also seeing, and this is the weird thing, because I know intellectually, because he said it, that when you see that everyone is playing the same role in it, I've got that. Seems unlikely that everyone is playing, the same role, because they can't be. And then there's that point where I go, holy fuck, everyone is playing the exact same role in there, even in surprising ways, like kind of where it would start, they'd play the role, then I'd play the role, and then the same drama, it would switch back and forth, and it's very odd. But it's immediately, you have it, there's a sense to it that you just go, oh, well, there it is. There's no question if that's what it is. And I went to bed, and I was like, kind of happy, and I woke up the next morning going, and then, but then obviously it doesn't sustain. It's not.
Do you think, Tommy, that these finding these binding moments, do you think they eventually lead to enlightenment, or is that something different?
I don't know. Because that's a question I have. I know Alan has said that he has removed all his shadows, but I think that happened after his awakening experiences.
Fucking vampire. What the fuck is going on there? Like,
I'd love to know what his wife thinks. yeah. All your shadows, Alan. Yeah, every one of them. That's it. I'd say it will definitely. See, I don't even know what awakening is. So I mean, I can't tell you, because it's definitely not more of something. It's just it's not more awareness. But it's definitely makes you understand yourself and your life and better. And being that, I suppose, the whole thing, the microcosm is the macrocosm, and the small is found in the large, and all of this kind of thing, that in a sense, with you doing the binding, you're also binding a greater thing. It's part of the recapitulation of the entire thing.
Yeah, that makes
so the
sense,
small action is the big act, is part of the big egg. So so to answer your question from that, yes, it would, but not probably in the way we think it does. That kind of way. It's true doing that, but it's not a result of doing that.
Yeah. It's bizarre for me, because like I on one level I kind of feel like I need to kind of slow it down a little bit, because I'm charging into it a little too fast. Because like I wrote to you one there a couple of weeks ago about our kind of relationship with time. That was a breakthrough. I had one the other night, was just sitting on the laptop. I had been sitting with Aga watching telly, and then I came back, moved down to the laptop, was typing something, and next thing, boom, got hit by a fucking freight train, and went, idiot! I've been doing this all my life. What am I doing? Yeah. And I went, and I went, okay, right.
The train thing's mad, isn't it? Because it feels like a train.
It just feels like boom. Yeah. You get a smack in the head, and you're like, okay, I've been doing that. I'm not going to do that anymore. But they're happening, and I'm just like, okay, shit, slow down. I want to get this Daniel Ingram book read before, because that fucking costs a lot of money. So I want to read that first. But like the Kingsley stuff now that you and Beanot have turned me on to, that's a different way of looking at enlightenment that isn't this kind of Eastern thing. And I know it's the Western stuff.
Yeah,
that,
Kingsley
like,
is definitely a Western-centric view of whatever it is, a traditional lineage or whatever.
Awakening or something.
And his big kind of point, or his big kind of thing, is that we feel, or we've allowed ourselves to be fooled into believing that the Western civilization is a mistake rather than something that equally had a spiritual origin, in the way that we look at the East as definitely having a spirit, the Eastern civilization having a spiritual kind of reason or origin or momentum to it. But in the West, we see it as a kind of a deterioration, a moving away from it, or a destruction of it, or something. But where his point would be, no, there's a spiritual reason for this too. This was put into motion deliberately, in the way that we view Native American spirituality, whatever like that. It has it's a proper spiritual heritage, whereas ours is a profane. And so he's saying no. Not saying he's equally saying it's not great. I'm not saying it's brilliant and it's all happiness and this is a perfect kind of expression of it. But just to kind of acknowledge that it equally too has a reason, and a proper lineage and stuff like that. Which is, he's the first person I've come across saying that, or at least the first person who has said it that I've realised what he was saying. I'm sure other people have said something similar, but I'm not. Maybe they haven't. He's definitely, because he says it a lot, and I kind of, when he said it, I went, oh, well, that makes an awful lot of sense to me. And like, even when you think about it, though, like, come back to Greece and the ancient Greeks and all of this kind of stuff. We have this kind of notion that with Plato and these kind of things, that they were great thinkers and they were kind of rationalists, and Parmenides, the father of rationalism, which of course Kingsley would go, the scholars have got that completely wrong. It was rationalism, fine, but given by the goddess.
Rationalism, true esotericism, mysticism. And it's very interesting. I've only watched one of those documentaries, and but
is that the one where he talks about the Matrix, is it, or the one
talking about his bum a lot? He talks about the buttocks a lot, and he can't. For some reason he can't say sensation. He has to say sensation.
And he also
sensation, isn't that
goddess?
it?
Goddess.
Yeah. Interesting, but like, I mean, me with my fucking Paddy Murphy, fucking the most Irish man who's ever lived. Like, as soon as I hear someone speaking with a kind of posh English accent, I'm like, no, fuck this guy. He doesn't know fucking shit, because it's just like, I just have this thing, not against the English, but against the kind of the upper classes of England.
Yeah, because we have that accent there's a form of that accent as an Irish accent as well. It's usually like a Protestant grammar school Trinity accent.
Trinity, fucking look at you with your potatoes, ha 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 ha. Fuck you, Boris. Fucking, he said that to fucking our Prime Minister, Leo Varadkar, the last Prime Minister. Yeah, he says something like, oh, where's your potatoes? Like, fuck you prick. Anyway, sorry.
Did Leo go, well, actually, they're in this Tesco's bag. Carry potatoes with me.
He's like, I'm Indian, man. I don't know how I got this job. My outfit is from India. I haven't a fucking clue what the fuck I'm doing as Prime Minister. I was supposed to be a doctor, and now look at me. Do you know? But, I think I like Kingsley. I need to go a bit more into him. But, like, I did look up other stuff on Paramedicles. Is that what their names? And the other guy.
Empedocles and Parmenides.
And so Empedocles had this weird thing about, like, how before, like, present man came to be, there was, like, a far better world where, like, how was it explained? He believed that there was, like, these different animals and stuff. There would be, like, hawks with, like, men's heads and stuff.
All right.
And he'd be like, yeah, well, that didn't really work out because they weren't suited to the environment. Well, no fucking shit, Sherlock. You know what I mean? A bird with a man's head, that ain't going to work. So, like, what's kind of bugging me is that, like, but this happens with everyone, and like, we do it ourselves with fucking Crowley and all. It's that, like, you just kind of pick and choose the bit that you want to believe and disregard everything else. So it's kind of like, well, Carl Jung was a great, he came up with the shadow, the anima, this. Yeah, he also sympathized with the Nazis. There's all that going on as well that nobody will talk about. I mean, he did at the start anyway, and then he didn't. But, like, and Crowley is a fucking shitbird completely.
Yeah, Crowley's, I would say, he's problematic.
Jeez, problematic.
Well, but the thing, I suppose, when you get to the Kingsley talking about Jung or whatever, his insistence is always on what Jung actually said, not what we think, what we want him to have said, any of those things. What did he actually say? And the amount of times he says that, even in his biography, which isn't really a biography, it was him talking to a secretary, and a secretary then edited it, but she took out all the bits that made him sound like a mystic or a prophet, and changed or augmented the other bits to to kind of fit in the picturesque stereotypical young that we, that wants to be present, or that the Jungians want to present to the world, rather than the stuff that he actually said. Which is the thing that why people don't like Peter Kingsley in a kind of a scholarship point of view, is because he disagrees with the kind of traditional or mainstream version of, say, Empedocles or Parmenides or whatever, and then explains why exhaustively and correctly, even that in some of the kind of the more, say, debatable points, that his rationale is every bit as good as the mainstream rationale. Like the both mightn't have enough evidence to prove it outright, but his kind of view of it is as legitimate as the other thing, as the other side. But it's the only thing I find.
It reminds me of your man, that fella used to be on Ancient Aliens years ago, Graham Hancock, because Hancock is similar in that, the mainstream would be like, this guy's full of shit, but Hancock's like, no, look, I can prove it, and da 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 da. But he's also Hancock's a bit annoying because he's prickly and.
And the other thing, Hancock is not actually qualified in the area he talks about, which it's fine. The thing, I'm not saying that you have to go to college to know anything, because I didn't. Well, I did, but I went and learned massage and aromatherapy. But Kingsley came from the the professorship kind of thing, the academic kind of point of view, and made his point. I often wondered about Graham Hancock and stuff. That I go, why not just go and spend the 4 years at college and get, or whatever it is, and get your qualification, and then people in a sense have to take you a bit more seriously, rather than just going, he has no qualifications in this. Do it, because I'm sure it would be easier to do than write magicians, the big, the
that's
book or
like
whatever.
What's his name, the mushroom fellow, Paul Stamets, isn't it?
Yeah, he's no qualifications either, has he?
He's a PhD. He's written
has he? Right,
tons and tons of stuff, and he's a college professor. And the thing is, like, people will slag him off about being the druggie and whatever, and he's like, dude, I have a PhD in this. I've written tons of books. I know what I'm doing. And that's the kind of opposite argument to Hancock, is that, like, he has the letters behind his name, so he can back it up. Whereas, like, people won't take Hancock seriously, even though they should, because they feel that he should have the letters behind his name, kind of thing.
But then you have Rupert Sheldrake, who equally came from the academic side. He's a tenured professor, as far as I know, or was up until recently. He's retired, and he's dismissed equally as Hancock. But that is that kind of that catch-22 thing of where people go, no real scientist is investigating this. Well, Rupert Sheldrake's a real scientist. No, he's not, because he's investigating this type of stuff. And you go, you can't win that one.
Yeah, it's hard, but like obviously I'm gonna have to buy Kingsley's books now and
good luck, because they're not cheap either. They're Daniel Ingram level prices.
Yeah,
I think Catafalque is 80 quid or something.
I know, I'm buying that. I'm buying that.
There's a new version of reality.
The new version of reality. That's
it's only
he's sending everyone
to
Book Depository to buy that, and I don't want to fucking spend money with those fuckers anymore.
Yeah, because I remember when Catafalque came out, he was selling it through his website, and I emailed him and goes, it's cheaper on Book Depository, but I'd rather you get the money. And he just replied to me, I assume he replied to me, and went, just get it on Book Depository. I was going like, okay, I'm trying to help you here. It's gonna, the reason why I think it was him, because when there was a friend of mine, and he was downloading one of the videos from the website, and he did it on his phone, and you've only 3 attempts, that kind of thing, and it turned out you can't download it on your phone. So he rings up the hotline number or whatever to talk to whoever's going to help him, and Peter Kingsley answers the phone. And he says it was definitely him, because it sounds like him. He's the same kind of slow speech, whatever. So it's obviously a one-man show.
Not enough of them on the internet at all. There's very little.
There's loads of them on the internet. You just have to pay for it. That's the thing. Like, because he has hours and hours of talks, and a couple of videos. I got them all at some point, and I think you have them now.
It's just bizarre it's just bizarre that there's someone of that kind of ilk, whatever, who isn't kind of, maybe doesn't need to do all the self-promotion.
I think he gets them taken down, I would say, because I know when I was doing the study group on A Story Waiting to Pierce You, I got a kind but to the point thing of going, you can't do this. We're not telling you not to do it. We're only pointing out that this is, something that you shouldn't be doing. So I assume he if stuff goes up, he'd be on the ball pretty quick. Although you do see the PDF knocking around of his first book a lot, so it's on Scribed and all these different places. So in the dodgy section of Scribed.
Interesting that as well, because like to come up with what he has about those Empedocles and
Parmenides.
Fuck them with their stupid names. Paddy and John, right?
Yeah, Paddy and Emma.
I mean, so like it's just fragments of 2,500-year-old poems, and to come up with books based.
Yeah, but it's
on
it's not just him doing that. But that's
of course.
Like that's mainstream academia. Also look at the same fragments and have come up with their accepted.
What's a little bit uncomfortable for me, and I don't know where this comes from, is that like when you hear people talking about the Western esoteric systems or movements and all this stuff, and it always dates back to the Greeks, right?
Yeah.
Is that a little bit racist?
I don't know. Explain. Why do you think that?
Well, because you're just like going. Okay, so like it's the Greeks who we have to thank for everything, but like, hold on, lads. What about the Celts? And what about
but I think
before
remember
that?
that when people mention the ancient Greeks, like say Empedocles was from Turkey and he lived in Italy, so it's not that it's like it's kind of the kind of Greco world rather. It's like, I suppose, looking back and saying the Western civilization and how much that encompasses, say, America, UK, France, Spain, all of these type of things, going into how then that affected, India, say, in the English.
But then this means that, like, say, like, okay, so if you're only looking at that sphere, the Greco world, right? So then, like, you can just say, well, the ruins, well, they can fuck off.
But that is what we've done, though. This is the kind of the point, is that Western civilization as it stands comes from the likes of, say, Empedocles and Parmenides and rationality and all of these things. And we have disowned and demonized Celtic. We don't have any of the philosophy of the Celtic stuff ingrained and used in the Western thing, in our Western type thing. And we don't have, like, elements of druidry.
We don't, though.
Not in the way that we do have the Greek stuff. So, like, the Greek is definitely the birth of the Western ideals or viewpoint or opinion or whatever. The pendulum that was created by these guys is still the pendulum we are in now. Whereas the kind of stuff, even around Norse stuff, doesn't creep in as much, or the Celtic stuff or any of that. But we're aware of it. But it's kind of, we know better than that. That was kind of old superstition, or that wasn't rather than incorporating into ourselves.
That's what I mean then. Like, is this whole just looking at that, is that like to dismiss everything? Should we dismiss everything? Or can we say, well, maybe there is a Celtic way of being spiritual as well? Well, now, I'm not saying Wiccan, because we all know Wiccan is
bullshit.
You said it. All right.
Well, it is. It was created in 1946 by Gerald Gordon.
Well, yeah. Well, it's not this bullshit. It's just that it's not the pagan religion.
It's not the old religion. That's
it's not it's not what the actual pagans were doing. Like, we can guess that they were not even guess, make fairly educated and good guesses at, like, okay, so this is the Feast of Lunasa. This was when he had his party, like St. Patrick's Day or whatever, But, like, what about Dagda? Sure, Dagda is like the good god. He was the best god. And when was his day? No one has a fucking clue. Do you know? Also, even like I saw it on the Discord, someone mentioned like Happy Mubab.
Mabon.
Whatever I was like, what the fuck is that? Like, and then I looked it up. It's a Welsh Celtic thing, and I was like, they're not proper Celts anyway, so it doesn't matter. I know, I'm messing. But like, I mean, come on, man. I'm Paddy Murphy. I know not all this stuff, but I know lots about this stuff.
Yeah.
And I'd never heard of this thing. Never even once heard about this. Like, I know Samhain, Hound, or Halloween next month. I don't know this other
Sam
one.
Hain, you mean? Sam Hain.
And it's like, how do I not know this thing? Like, how is this? It's not a new thing, obviously, but it's just something.
Yeah, but
that,
equally, you could go like, being that the Western civilization is so entrenched in Greek, you didn't know Empedocles or Parmenides till 3 weeks ago either.
Oh no, I hadn't a fucking clue, never heard.
So I mean, it's like.
But Socrates, Plato, yada yada, you know them.
Yeah. I know your point. I see what you're going. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, obviously, I don't know. But at the back of everything, at the beginning and the origin of all of these things, I'm pretty certain you could go, is this kind of a bit racist? The answer will be 95% yes. Pretty sure.
Yeah. If you have a slight inkling something is racist, it probably fucking is. Like,
if not now, definitely was at some point.
Yeah, because like I'd be afraid that like, you know, because you imagine in like 20 or 30 years' time, there was like, oh no, well, you know, we have to go with the Empedocles teaching on this because he was a white Greco Sicilian. Yeah. Like, no, why? No, we don't have to do that. We don't have to. Can we not just all kind of like each other and get along, kind of thing? Like, no, let's fight to the death. Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, it's a pity we're like that.
Humans are like this. There's this thing in Armenia and Azerbaijan at the minute, and it's like, have I got those two countries right? I think I have. And
if you don't, that's a bit racist.
Yeah, exactly. No, it is. But and like, I for some reason, I fell into a comment section on one of the news sites the other day, and it was like, all these things were like, that's so all to do with religion. It's like, no, it's land, man. Stop blaming religion. It's land and land grabs and fucking dickhead politicians. Don't be blaming religion.
Like, because it's like the people like point to the the troubles in the north and all that as being Catholic versus Protestant. It's not. No one was arguing over, where the Virgin Mary stood in the cosmology of the Christian Church.
Listen to me, you bollocks. She conceived without sin. What the fuck, you man?
Yeah, graven images, statues in your church, saints. I don't think so. Not in my watch.
Yeah, well, you see, you don't even believe that the bread is consecrated as the true body of our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. Fuck you, you Protestant. No, it's a symbol. It's a symbol of the consecration. It's not the actual body. Shoot that bastard.
Yeah, no, that was basically during the 80s what was going on RTE.
In Ireland, yeah.
On our political programmes. Fuck. Yeah, but I mean, like, you can point and go, yes, there were two different religions. Well, they weren't. They were the same religion, two different sects of the same religion.
Yeah.
And it certainly wasn't a religious argument.
No,
it's a class argument. I could definitely point to and agree with, or
land, class, power, control,
tribal, all of that stuff. But that whole thing. But like you then do kind of say, you look at the the Crusades or something like that. That was definitely a religious war. There's no question about that. We were on the wrong side of it, us as Westerners.
What's his name? That Dan Carlin guy. I really like.
Yes, yeah.
He has a great. He's a series on I think it's a series of a couple of episodes about the Celtic Crusades, but it was the Romans who killed not the Romans, it was the Catholic Church who wiped out the Celts of France. It's fucking horrific, so it is. It's a really good listen, though.
Right.
His podcasts are amazing. Like the World War I podcast is just unbelievable.
I know, but you have to, it's like it's not effort. I don't mean that, but you have to really be into it. Like I can't listen to him and draw because I'll just be not drawing. You just listen to him. You have to be there. You have to be present for that stuff.
Yeah, you have to be listening to it. All right, it's good. Come here. I had things I was going to ask you. Because you wanted this. What did you text me the other day about a magical challenge?
Oh yeah,
It's going to be a public thing, was it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Just
Spud. Well, it is now.
Well, it is now.
Yeah. No, what I wanted to do is because I'm always kind of people are mad into banishing. People love it. They're big into it. And I haven't had great experiences with it. And I did the lesser banishing ritual of the pentagram I did it for a while. Like, it wasn't that I did it for 2 weeks. I did it for a couple of months. And things went peculiar, we shall say. And so I kind of had an aversion to this banishing everyday thing. But I kind of suspect I may be throwing baby out with bathwater with that, and that it's something
I don't.
No, but like the method of science, aim of religion, blah blah blah. Now that I'm a Thelemite, and
come cakes.
That was so funny. And I can see I sent you the thing in Rufus Orpheus' book Abrahadabra. There's a recipe for cakes of light, and even he won't mention what the ingredient is for it. Other ingredient, see Lieber. Yeah.
Oh, God.
But he says do only use it in a homeopathic way, and that you're putting very just don't do it. How about
that? Could you not just use tears or something? Like, I mean, something that's easier to get, easier to ingest.
Could you not just use
spit? Your own spit.
Intention.
Intention, yeah, I suppose.
So anyway, so my idea was, and you kind of went, no, because I'm not eating any cakes of light. It was to eat a cake of light. That's what every day for 30 days and see what happened. No, it's not that. I was going to do like the Star Ruby every day for 30 days or for 2 weeks or something like that, because I prefer the Star Ruby I prefer the cosmology of the Star Ruby than I do.
What does Alan Chapman call it? A pile of piss?
Yeah, but that was, no, you meant more that it's so easy to do, I think, rather than because he wasn't dismissing it. A piece of piss, that's what he called it.
Piece of piss, yeah.
Come
here, my thing. So put me straight on banishing here, because I would rather say do the Kabbalistic cross for 30 days.
Well, the majority of the lesser banishing ritual of pentagram is the Kabbalistic cross.
No, because, well, okay, now let's have an argument here about ceremony magic and let's put on our robes. Thine fourth child must
soy o fale
no, because it's
or my favourite ones.
His face is going red, dear listeners.
I wonder did that to start. I'm sure it did.
The thing, so yeah, you can correct me on all this because I'm probably way off, but
I'm sure you're not.
What I've read is that the Kabbalistic cross is something you do before the banishing rituals, so it's part of it, but you can do it on its own.
You can, yeah, of course. Yeah.
So the Kabbalistic cross, my understanding of it is that you're calling the divine down onto you, but also realizing, yeah, I'm part of this, I'm part of you, you're part of me.
Well, it's essentially putting yourself at the centre of the universe. That's the most succinct way of doing it.
See, I think
or acknowledging you as the centre of the universe.
Yeah. Well, okay, but we all are centres of our own universes. So
that's the point.
Yeah, that's the point.
Yeah. So it's in Thelema thing. It's Hadid in rather than Nuit. It's the centre of manifestation in a single point.
Okay.
Yeah.
So isn't that much nicer and fuzzier than like banishing every single thing that's in your vicinity at one moment? Because like I don't want what happened to you to happen to me. Because Tommy's been through that and it didn't work out well. And loads of stuff I've written about people doing banishing stuff. No, proper banishing these things it doesn't always work out very well for people.
No, it definitely doesn't. Well, I mean, originally it was you invoked in the morning, or you banished in the morning, invoked whatever, one or the other. I can't remember, from the Golden Dawn type thing. So it wasn't just
it's invoking in the morning, banishing in the evening.
Yeah.
I think.
That
makes sense.
I also. No, I mean that up until that's still my answer. Like I agree with you. That we've talked about that a number of times on the podcast and privately about the whole banishing thing or whatever. But I also like the idea of challenging my own beliefs about things practically. There could have been a million reasons why the banishing I did back in the day had negative effects. Number one, because magic is, designed to destroy your life because you wanted to. But you don't want, you can't have change and everything still stay the same. You know what I mean? So it's. And equally, I don't want to equally say that all bad stuff is really good stuff. To call back to the beginning. I don't want to fall into that trap either. But it's a good case magician. I think it's important to challenge your own beliefs and to do the belief shifting thing. And I just thought doing something that I feel, while it is a proper element to magic, it's not just kind of a something mad that someone thought. It's such a huge element of different type of different types of magic or whatever, that to do something to see what happened, to make it as a record in the kind of a sense of the Baptist head type stuff, where make a public record of here's what it is, I did it for 30 days, here's my experience of it or whatever, with the caveat that if it goes really weird after 2 weeks, I'm stopping it. So maybe I shouldn't. If you're going to do 30 days, you do 30 days. I don't know. I'm going to do it. I think I'm going to do it.
You're going to do it. Okay, you do it then, and then we'll see how badly your life goes. Because I'm just okay, let's just say that you're very, very close to your HGA talking to you, right?
Yeah.
But now you're going on a 30-day fucking banishing thing. You've pissed her off. Him off.
Yeah. Well, no, because it's the way to look at it's not banishing. It's not like you're banishing. it's you know,
You're banishing everything. You're clearing a space.
Yeah, but you're clearing
banishing
space.
everything.
But it's like if you hoover once, that's not cleaning everything for eternity. You know what I mean? Your carpet gets dirty very, quickly.
But if you're doing it for 30 days, like, that means that she's not going to be knocking on your door, like.
I know, but she's not knocking on my door anyway. You know what
You
I mean?
don't know,
and who
man.
Well, I don't, but I also equally don't know that the reason why she's not knocking on my door is because I've surrounded myself with such dross and such, the planet card in the
No,
first
okay,
What's
fair
in
enough.
your orbit? What are you, what do you surround yourself? What are the things that are blocking you from seeing the world as it really is? In my, Morpheus impression, a terrible Morpheus impression. Welcome to the world of the real. I don't know. I'm willing to try, and do it. And why not? I'm not. I can't see. I was going to say I can't see things getting much worse out of it. But what if it gets better? Let's not have the. Let's not do the pessimism team. Let's not do the optimism team.
I can't help but feel that we would be better. I would be better to rather call in the good, and rather than just being like, everything, get out of here. Ah!
Yeah, but I mean, part of the Star Ruby is calling in the good, and part of the Lester Bankston ritual is surrounding yourself with, the elements and the archangels. You know what I mean? It's like, that's why, in a sense, I suppose only doing half of the Lester Bankston ritual with pentagram is because you're literally, you're emptying a thing and not replacing anything. So it's at the end of the Star Ruby, like, you're surrounding yourself with the good guys, you're filling the space again with something. It's not a vacuum. You're not exactly trying to I suppose, in a sense, make a neutral ground. Even if that's how it's kind of presented. You do a banishing before, to make neutral ground. But you certainly, you're calling in the Lester Banishing Ritual Pentagram, you're calling in, the 4 archangels. And, you're surrounding yourself with protecting pentagrams, and, they're connecting, and you're basically turning yourself into a sphere of power and all this kind of stuff. So it's not fuck off everyone, it's fuck off everyone and come here, big guys. Come here. That's thing. I don't know. I see, it's hard for me to disagree with your points because I agree with all your points. But I'm trying to challenge myself in them, in trying to, I don't know, check to make sure that I'm not just apprehensive or biased towards something like this because of one experience I had, given that my life wasn't particularly brilliant anyway. There was a lot of stuff that probably needed to be cleared out. You know what I mean? You can kind of go... You can see this. Sometimes you need to leave all your social circles to realize which ones you want to keep.
Of course.
So that's my approach to it. That's kind of my thoughts around it. But I keep a proper record of it, and thing. But I don't know. I suggested to you because I know you have done none of that stuff, and so I thought it might be a fun type thing to do.
No, you know what? I've done the Kabbalistic cross a fair few times. I like that one. No, I do like that one because I see it as just a positive energy thing rather than, getting the 4 bodyguards of the apocalypse to look after me. Because I'm like, well, I don't need that. I don't think I need that.
What about maybe doing the middle pillar? Because that's
the middle pillar is a good one too. Yeah. No, I like that one. Your man's voice is funny though. No, but I like the meditation of the middle pillar for sure. And there's one really good one that Damien Eccles had, which is some based on something like that as well. Is that you do the Kabbalistic cross first, and then you imagine a white ball above you and a dark one below you, and the dark one is your baggage and etc., your ego, all the shit you need to work on basically, and then the one above you is the divine one, and then what I would do is I would imagine myself. I was sitting up in the cross leg thing, that bit, and I would take the black ball and the white ball and I'd put them together, and then when you pull them apart, the black one becomes less black, so it turns grey, and eventually you got to make both of them white, and then that's basically the meditation, and then you just bliss out after that. It's great.
Nice.
I've done that a good bit. So secret ceremonial fucking magician here,
When do your robes arrive? Or have you your robes already?
I have a really, really cool red bathrobe, man. I look like Hugh Hefner. It's amazing.
The cigar and all.
I wanted to tell you about my astral projection,
Oh,
man.
yes.
So this was mad. On was Friday or Saturday night. I'd had a couple of beers. Not many now. 3, I think 4. No, 4.
Which is nothing for an Irish person.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Breakfast.
That's essentially what you would drink before you go to the pub.
Well, yeah, of course. And so, yeah, a couple of beers, and I think I've been watching BoJack, the end of BoJack, and which is great. I know it's so miserable and depressing. It's just the perfect fucking cartoon. But yeah, so I watched the end of that, and I went upstairs to bed, and I had this mental experience. It was just like I got into bed, and I didn't even. I don't even feel like I fell asleep, because as soon as my head hit the pillow, I felt like she grabbed me by the shoulders and just pulled me up into the heavens. Minerva, no, not Aga. Aga wasn't horny after her 2 shandies, you know. And she was holding me by the shoulders, and I felt like I was in this kind of landscape, a bit like Tron. There's all these lines intersecting all across, as far as I could see. And she was behind me and whispering in my ear, ask him, what was it? Ask him what you need to ask him. And I was like, who? And next thing, this...
Oh, was it kind of like, say it to him now. Say it to his face.
Yeah, say it to his face, right? So next thing, this kind of dude appeared beside me, like really close beside me. Like I went kind of like that. And he looked like he was this hideously ugly looking fucking freak. And it was... How to explain what he looked like? Do you remember the old Android robot logo? The green one?
Yeah.
Yeah, so he looked something like that, but like deformed and just fucked up. Really fucked up. And I was like, I don't like to look at him.
Like a kind of deformed Teletubby type thing. Lala or something.
Yeah. But like just kind of like gurgling and dribbling and shit. I was like, what the fuck is this? Like, I don't like this. Like I said to Minerva, I don't like this. And I did.
I want that, Ted. I want that.
Right? Yeah. And she was like, no, you have to ask him what you need to ask him. I was like, I don't know what I want to ask him. I don't want to talk to him. And she said again, you have to ask him what you need to ask him. And then I looked at him and I went, who the fuck are you? And he was, you don't need to know my name. Right? And I went, no, I do. I'm Spud. You know who I am. Who the fuck are you? And he just, and he dematerialized. He was gone.
Right.
I was like, right. And I turned to her and I said, that was a test, wasn't it? And she said, yeah. I was like, okay, fine. And then I walked on a bit, and then there was like in the tarot cards, there's a blue and a black and a white pillar.
Yeah.
And there was an altar
high
between
priestess.
it. Yeah. And it was weird because, like, I told you about that Ted Andrews book, the Magic. Oh Jesus, what's the name of it? I've been recommending it to everyone. I can't remember the name of it now. My mind's gone blank. I think it's the Magic Kabbalah, or Simplified Magic Kabbalah. I think that's the name. Ted Andrews, I need to look it up. And he speaks about meditating on the Sephirot, and that this is a vision that is common to people, seeing these pillars and an altar, and then you'll speak to the representative of that sphere, you know?
Yeah.
And I saw this thing and I went, no fucking way. This thinking like this is bullshit. Like, because when I was reading the book, I was thinking, this is impossible. Like, who the fuck is going to meditate and see pillars and an altar? It's nonsense, you know? And there I was, okay, fair enough. So I walked up to it, and as I got closer, there was this guy he had this amazing, beautiful blonde hair. Ooh. You know, like this big fucking Thor motherfucker, you know?
Right,
Sexy bastard from behind, you know? Long grey cloak. And as I got up to him, he turned around, and he looked a bit like, there's a character in Lord of the Rings, and I never know his name. He was killed in the third film. It's not a spoiler, he's not a main character, don't worry. He was one of the elves. He was like the leader of the army in the elves or something. He looked like him. He turned around. He had this kind of greyish skin and this beautiful long blonde hair. And he said, and then Minerva was gone. And he said, he asked the same question, and as her was like, what do you need to ask me? He said. And I went, and I said something, am I doing this properly? Am I on the right path? And he says, yeah, you are. But yeah, you need to let go of yourself more. I was like, okay. And I was like, so what do you mean? And he said, it's you just need to surrender control of it more and let yourself go with it. I was like, okay, right, okay. And then I woke up then the next morning.
Right.
And I think that's most of it I put together. And then on Saturday night then I kind of had another thing with her as well. I had a meditation. I was saying, look, what did he mean here? and I could hear her shouting, let go. Just let go. Let fucking go. She wasn't saying, she doesn't swear. She was, let go. Just let go and surrender yourself and you'll find it. So it's like that thing that's just the story of my fucking life, just trying too hard.
Yeah. Can I ask a question? What does she appear like? Or is she just a presence?
I still can't see her face, Tommy.
Right,
from behind.
It's because she's failed, like, obviously. Because that's,
No, like I get these visions of someone cloaked in blue with white and kind of gold trim on her clothing, sort of thing, and I can see the back of her head. But anytime she turns to me, I can't see her face, and I don't know if it's that she doesn't want to show herself to me, or is it I'm just too fucking scared.
Imagine you turn around and it's your face.
Demon!
I want that, Ted!
You're not my angel, you're a demon. So it's weird, and like, yeah, I have asked her to show her face to me, but then I know that, like, kind of as she turns, I'll kind of come out of the dream or the meditation or whatever, because I think I'm not ready. I think I've built it up too much now that I'm kind of freaking myself out about it, you know. But like, it was so strange that it happened so quickly, because I've not been trying to do astral projection, or I've not been, like, it was something on the list that I would have eventually gotten around to, but it was just like, literally as soon as my eyes closed, it was just boom, just brought up, and I'm like, okay, here I am. Haha, I've heard of this. This was in a chapter of a book I read, so let's see what happens. But like, maybe the white androidy thing was Karanzan. I don't fucking know, but it was definitely a test. Like she said, yeah, it was a test. And then walking up to the other guy, yeah, and I should have asked him. I didn't ask him like which sphere he was.
Well, what colour was it? Grey. Well, so you can walk
grey,
by
yes,
the attributes.
Grey with blonde hair. Yeah. He had a grey cloak and kind of greyish skin as well. So yeah, I will look that up.
And gold. So grey and gold. I mean, obviously by his hair, like it. So.
So there you are. I don't know. It's weird, man. It's fucking. But like, I wasn't freaking out during the whole thing, even though like, the first guy was like ugly and hideous. I just sort of had the sense to say, yeah, who are you?
Did he look like Marty Fieldman from Young Einstein or whatever? Is that his name? What's that film? Gene Wilder movie, the black and white one, the Einstein one. No Spud.
Sorry, I'm terrible with films, you know that.
You haven't even said, like, it was good. I sent you the Whitney L&I quote. At least you recognised the quote.
I knew it was Whitney L&I, but I've never seen that. I know, it's mad. There are a million films I haven't seen.
Of course, you can't see everything.
How have you not seen that? I'm like, I'm a fuckwit. You know what I mean? I'm just fucking. Anyway, so yeah, no, I don't really know what to do now, other than just like, but the Alan Chapman thing of the heart of my heart, isn't it? I offer you my momentary fate.
Yeah, remember because you put them both together. They're two separate things.
And place my eternal destiny in your hands.
Yeah, so so my divine self, I offer you my momentary fate, and place my divine. I have my mind blanking on it. In your hands, whatever. My divine destiny in your hands. But the heart of my heart is the second part of that. That's on the out-breath when you're doing the esoteric version of it. Yeah. So the exoteric is the offering, and then the esoteric is the heart of my heart on the out-breath on the thing. Just because twice you've just said it as one complete thing.
Right.
Yeah.
But it's the same thing as what this vision or projection I had. It's just like stop trying to control things. It's going to be all right, like, you know. So okay, and like, you know,
well, no, come here. No one said it's going to be all right. They just said stop controlling it.
Stop trying to control it.
Yeah. So I mean, there could be where you're not letting yourself go because you want it to be all right, and you might have to allow yourself for it to be not all right, and that's the letting go. speaking as someone who's doesn't know any of this, but that's what came into my head to say to you.
Well, then I'm never letting go of the fucking reins, man. I want it to be all right. I want everything to be all right all the time.
There you go. That would seem.
There's a binding, huh?
Your block, or not? You're not your block. That's the bit you're not letting go. Letting go of the easy stuff is the easy stuff. It's letting go of the hard stuff that scares you is the test, or the bit that is the challenge. That's the rub, as they say.
Mind blown, Tommy. Holy fuck. So, I thought I was doing everything right. Now I'm like,
you're doing everything. Of course, you're doing everything the way you're doing the thing. So I mean, it can't be any other way. But that's the thing. Like sometimes it's with the bindings and that kind of stuff, where you could be talking to me about a binding, and it is blatantly obvious to me what's going on here, or or whoever, or I could be talking to you, and likewise. But the point is, you can't see it, and even me saying it to you doesn't let you see it. And the only reason, and in a sense, could delay it, because if I said, no, it's really, your dad, or whatever is the thing, and you go, no, it's not my dad, and so you've just dismissed it, so it's going to take you longer to get to the fact that it's your dad. So you have to, in some sense, work around it or whatever. But it's the other thing about bindings is it's like, because people can get kind of obsessed with it, and I remember at one point we were all gotten a bit obsessed with, no matter what happened, we better do a binding on that, and you really only should do bindings on stuff from the House of God teaching, the Magia lesson, which is you start by doing the fire practice, and when you get interrupted by something, you bind it.
Okay. Yeah.
It's not necessarily you decide.
Of course.
It's what when you've been interrupted doing something personally meaningful, which is the the fire practice or whatever. That's the shadow doing it or whatever. The other stuff, I suppose, you can just like thing that you were saying by the school and stuff like that, is a kind of more just a general kind of meditative thing of like, what am I doing? What the fuck am I at? Rather than a practical binding practice, say. But again, that's my limited knowledge of this teaching. Other opinions are available, and go to Alan Chapman for the actual the real bit, because it's just I'm so wary of diluting, or because I know when I'm trying to learn some stuff, having talked to different people who've kind of not necessarily the right view, but their own kind of way of doing it, and it kind of has led me a bit astray. So I don't want to the whole thing. I don't want to add to the bullshit of and the dross and the thing. So you have to let the bad things happen. You have to let the apocalypse happen. You have to let.
Yeah, but I'm not like me. I'm not a fucking I'm not a control freak. I was an awful control freak growing up, but now I'm much more easier going now. But obviously I'm not letting fully go, or I'm not allowing myself to fully go with this. Maybe that's what I read into it at first. You know what I mean? So, but I know like I have tried things over the last couple of months where I'm like, you know what, I'm not going to make a single decision today. I'm going to ask people questions, and I'm just going to do what they kind of tell me to do.
Right.
It's like this thing. I got it from a friend of mine. She wrote a really great article for one of those women websites, her.ie or something.
Women websites, yeah. That's not disparaging or dismissive at all. No,
well,
women websites.
They're for women. Sorry. Nobody saw the fucking hand movement until you brought it up, Tommy. So thank you.
Nobody even seen it either, but I repeated it because I didn't expect. You have given the game away.
Sorry. So anyway, there's this thing that she didn't come up with, but there was this thing that where you have a yes day with the kids. So you ask the question, you ask the kids, what do you want to do today? And they'll say, I want to go to the zoo. You say, yeah, no problem. And so the whole day you just say yes to what they want. But the conclusion of the day...
And at the end of the day, you kill the children.
No. The conclusion that, and I've read other articles about the phenomenon as well, is that, the conclusion of the day is that, the kids didn't really want to do all these things. They just wanted a full day with you,
Right, yeah.
So, by doing what other people suggest to me to do, I kind of find out a bit more about myself. That makes sense.
Okay, yeah.
You know, it's like I remember saying to you before, is that I had this kind of realization years ago that okay, stop trying to fucking figure stuff out. Just ask other people about yourself, because some of them know you better than you know yourself, or they don't know you better than yourself.
No, I know what you mean.
They know certain aspects of yourself.
Yeah.
So by learning what other people think of you, you get to see what you're really like, kind of thing, So yeah, it's a fucking interesting thing to do, to just say, right, I'm going to make no decisions today. I'm going to ask questions and just kind of follow the leads that people give me. You know, it's fun. I've been doing this other thing as well, where it's like I imaginarily high five everyone I meet on the street. But like
lovely.
not just like not just like a high five. It's like,
and the
high
imaginary
five, yeah.
put some alcohol rub then on your hands immediately afterwards. And
But it's great, man. I'm walking down the street with a big smile on my face because I'm fucking high five, doing it in a Borat voice, you know, high five, everyone. And it's just like, yeah, walking out to the kindergarten, walking in with a big smiley head on me while everyone else is like, kids. And then I just high-fived the hottest fucking girl I've ever seen in my life, except for my wife, obviously. Now she's gonna kill me after saying that.
you should have just said, she's also my wife. And lucky am I.
But it's good. It's interesting. Like, the listeners, try it, but like, fucking go with it. Don't be just like high five. Like, just fucking in your head, just give them the smiliest, happiest high five you can. You know, just and see, it just brightens up your day because everyone loves a high five. You know, who doesn't love a high five? You know,
Well, the people who were looking for the down lows who were too slow.
I can't top that. Bye bye.